It's always a big ordeal. My goal is to have it fully implemented by the end of next year, but I'll start at the beginning of the year. Because at the beginning of each year, JC and I meet with different groups to just give them an update of what we're doing. So that's the update for the 506 program. That's all.
And then we also have a lot of examples of our 506 forms back on that table we can also give to you. And we're also going to give you each a stack. So when you meet someone at powwow, hand them a 506, you know,
Yeah.
or especially, you know, at your school. Yeah, absolutely.
Because that being a charter school, there's a lot of native families.
Yeah.
In that community, and so even instead of going to the straight into the school, but like more one-on-one with the parent would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because even my daughter's best friend, we had no idea, and they came out and they're from Washington and school tribal members there, and it's big too. There's all kinds of little families like hidden and tucked away we didn't even know.
Yeah.
Waiting to like come on.
Absolutely. And we've found too, a lot of our families don't know that they would be eligible for our program. But it's based on descendancy of a parent or grandparent of a federally recognized tribe. So cool. Wish we had that howl. So welcome if you're watching this at a later time. This is the Southern Oregon Education Service District Indian Education Parent and Community Board Consortium Parent Committee meeting, and we are going to do introductions. I'm recording this on a laptop, so I'm just gonna all thumbs kind of fumble around the room in a circle, and we'll get everyone to introduce themselves. It's here. Thank you for watching this. Okay, we're just gonna start there.
Hi guys, my name is Katrina. My husband Trey. I have 4 little ones. We're just excited to be here. Be part of such an amazing event.
Trey, like you said, I'm from the Huron tribe, and yeah, I'm excited to be here too.
Thank you.
It's some good information with our kids. In the future.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. Amanda, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Hello, my name's Amanda. I'm in Oglala, Lakota. And I'm in 10th grade, and I'm the Jackson County State Representative.
Thank you, Amanda. Hi, I'm JC Swick, and I work for the Indian Education Program. I'm Lakota Oyate. I'm a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, and my descendancy is also Standing Rock.
I'm Constance Palaya. I'm the NASU advisor for Three Rivers, Fruitdale Elementary and Hidden Valley High School.
I'm Preston and I'm with them.
Hi, my name is Ian Hewitt. I'm Modoc Paiute, and for that,
My name's Earl. I'm Southern Oregon Indian Education Parent Council President, and I'm Modoc and Paiute, and I'm glad to be here. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Tina Rand. I'm mom, mother of Modoc children. Hey, grandma. I'm happy to be here and on board to further educating all of our children.
Lee Miller, here supporting people and all that good stuff. Here.
Hi, I'm Echo Miller. I'm vice president of the Josephine County for this program, and a rural tribal member in Klamath, and yeah, just love being here. Hi, my name is Abigail Wild. I'm a member of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. My children are all brave and Potawatomi group. And I'm the secretary of the King County.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I don't think there's really a good spot. I'll just keep moving it to whoever's speaking. Okay, so we provided our annual budget for our Title VI programs. Does anyone have any questions right off the bat regarding our budgets? Okay. Very good. So I will say our largest expenses are food for our events. But that's standard cultural practice. You know, we can't invite families and not feed them. You know, and Teresa and I, we honor that reciprocal relationship. And we'll always do that. And we'll always have food. And, you know, as much as, you know, you provide for us, we'll also provide for you. So if there's ever anything that's needed, just let us know. Teresa, you know, works tirelessly, so contact me every once in a while, you know, and be totally fine. You know, yeah, so yeah, but we're here for you, but mostly, honestly, food. Yeah, I would say food costs, and it's needed, it's required, and our program understands that. So we'll always have food at all of our events. And Teresa has done the work to make sure that's been approved. Okay, so budgets are good, very good. Do you want to talk about the form Charlie needs next?
Yeah. So with the federal grant for Title VI, which is the actual Indian education program, every year we have to submit an application form. And through that we have a parent group that's participating. At the beginning of the year, we had our first meeting. I told everyone that we were gonna need parents from every school district. But the supervisor of our program here in Southern Oregon called the federal office and said, you know, that's really a burden on our families. So they are only requiring us to have 2 signatures. So we figured we would have the chair of each CPC. So Earl, and since Keely's not here, then that would be you. So you two will sign this form so that we can submit it to the federal government and get our funding for the next school year.
So basically it's just like a mid-review of our program. But we have some other things that happen with a review of our program. So during you know, annual reviews a lot, you know, our budget's a lot of money and it comes from the federal government. So when they came in and reviewed us, you know, they said everything looks great. Hey, that JC, she's doing a great job. You know, I want that on record. They didn't say that. But it's here, it lives live on this video. But they said basically everything looked really good. We have a wonderful business office at SOESD. So our program looks very small. It's Teresa, myself, and our coordinator, Charlie. But we also have Susan Silva. We have Nora Ramirez. We have Samantha Becerra. So it's, you know, we have an entire group at SOESD that helps make sure all of our finances are buttoned up, everything's in place. So we have a lot of really, really good news. The bad news is 2 years ago in the Alameda fire, it took Teresa's office in our SOESD building. It's still fresh trauma, even to share, especially for Teresa because she lost so much. But in that building were all of our files and supplies, and along with the building that fell, all of the 506 forms on file are gone. They burned. So we have this really great system in place where we get our enrollment form, we scan it, and we also enter it into an Excel sheet just for our own personal data because it contains your address, it contains your phone number, that kind of stuff. And so we have all of that, but we don't have the physical form that goes with it. The reviewer looked at it and said without the physical form, they cannot verify that that child can be proven. We have 291 students. We just shared our budget. The budget would be gone next year without making 291 students at a minimum. So it's completely necessary. We need a new form for every single person, and we need at least 10 more for people that weren't even already in our program. So it's imperative. I've been at events, handing them out. We've sent them in our newsletter, we've mailed them, and the mailing, it costs $800 to send through the US mail. But we did it, we'll do it again, and we'll do it again. Because we actually get the most back from mailing them through the US mail. With that though, we're also going to be updating our communication, our parent square with a new form. That's a new phone number, that's a new address. So that's good news as well. That'll come out of it. But you know, it's just, it's a fresh wound. So, you know, it was a huge blow, especially for Teresa that lost so much. So, yeah. So if ever I could work on getting those, that'd be great. We have them on our website, but they need the actual physical form, so they'll have to print them themselves and bring it in. We don't have a permanent place still. It's still being rebuilt. So we're currently out of the Medford SOESD office. And Teresa gets there quite a bit, me not so much, you know, once a week. So, but yeah, that's how we're doing it.
Yeah, when you come in on Tuesday, that would be great. That would be the ideal thing. The other thing that that has been really challenging is because of COVID, and we had many families and also the fires. It was COVID at the fires. Move and leave the area, or just move and have an address change. And so we have a lot that come back to us, and we need to get those that address updated. So as you're out in your community, if you could also make sure that people know, I think there's a form on our Indian Ed page, I believe,
Yes.
for to update your address on there, your contact information. So
And you can find the actual 506 form on our website as well.
yeah.
But we also, each school has one.
Each school has it.
And
Go ahead.
Teresa has been working tirelessly for years, but we're very hopeful that going into September enrollment, they'll have a process in place for what to do once they receive that form. Because right now it's a little messy with some of our schools. So we service 13 school districts. Each district must have at least 10 students enrolled with our program. So if we don't get, say, 10 back from Eagle Point, Teresa and I are done in Eagle Point.
Yeah.
You know, if there is a 10 right now with before the form review, we only have 6 in Rogue River. If we don't get 4 more in Rogue River, we'll no longer service children there. And those 6 cannot join Indian Ed. And that's just a federal policy.
What about, can they come to like since they're in the Three Rivers district, what if they came?
No, it's Rogue River School District. They're separate school districts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't service that school district unless there were 10 students that we serve.
If they did want to attend, they could come.
They'd have to do an out of district transfer if they were still living there.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
It's important to be able to put out the right information.
Media such as Facebook and like making posts, like kind of, you know,
That's
like.
Why
Yeah.
I mentioned the newspaper, because a lot of
Like
people
newspaper ads
read the
and
newspaper.
Facebook ads and media presence to let parents acknowledge that that they're in such.
Well, yeah, those are all fantastic ideas, and honestly, I want to say up until JC came, capacity has been a really big issue. You know, having that many school districts, and this year, we've started getting the responsibility of of Klamath County. And so that adds a lot more to our plate. So capacity has been a big issue, which is why having you all participate it's so important, because the idea in my mind is eventually you're gonna be that advocate in your school district that teachers and administrators will be able to, you can go and help with that piece. That's part of it. And then the other piece is also with that, letting the greater community know, hey, we have Indian Ed, and these are all of the great things that we're doing. So, yeah,
Are you finding resistance at schools?
there sometimes,
That's
absolutely.
what I'm wondering, like Trent, for example,
Mhm.
because we did middle school, a lot of it is the kids are taking on their own responsibility and becoming code and selling minutes. So I thought if the school could know, and maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like track and field or football, hey,
Right.
mom, I want to sign up for this.
Right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that, it's tricky. And Earl can talk a little bit more about this, and Amanda, because they went to oh, you were there too, Tracy. Sorry. There's several people here who, attended, racial equity training for educators.
Okay.
And so they got a better sense of what it's like, right, in our area. So they'd be able to speak to that as well. I think I've been in this position long enough to have a different perspective, I think, and so listening to the community is gonna be important. But the other piece that I wanted to say, JC was mentioning about, not serving a school district. That also means Native American student unions, because the Title VI grant, is what funds the Native, the student unions in those school districts. So if we don't have enough students in that district, then that will also no longer exist, because that is a Title VI program. So in the Title VI program, it's the Native American student unions, the parent committee, and Poker Nights. We're very blessed to have the ESSER grant to be able to have JC here, and it's a wellness grant. So it's covering a lot of the beautiful things we're able to do now, which is making the regalia and the powwow trips and all these extra things that we're doing. That's not something that is guaranteed after this 2-year period.
Right.
Which will mean that we'll have to start writing grants and, doing that thing, so.
Yeah, so, one thing about our policies and that kind of stuff with schools, Constance is a NASU advisor, but basically the overall goal is that NASUs would then be like any other student club and funded by that school and that school district. Right now, it's not in place. Teresa worked to bring the first one to Southern Oregon, and she started by funding it herself. The overall goal from that start of Ashland's was to have schools fund it themselves like they do for other student clubs they offer. So that's the goal with that. But currently we do have 11 NASUs, and we have wonderful advisors. Constance covers 2, which is really nice. And we're able to offer not a lot, but a stipend just to say thank you, we appreciate you, and to give them some money for snacks, that kind of stuff, activities, so they can have something going at a student club. So is there anything you want to share about those NASU processes?
We need more kids.
Yeah.
Is there any way at all these schools, let's say Will Road has only 6 students, is there any way that somebody could, find out if there's any more Native students there? Is there, yeah, I know I have.
Family there that we gotta get a hold of.
But I don't even know if they know about the. program.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there a spokesperson? You go to school
Some of
and
them
ask
enroll.
about
So,
those?
yeah, let me explain that.
Yeah.
At the
Because when I
beginning,
was a kid, they had a spokesperson, a counselor come in case any native needed any. And I was only in grade school, but I was always in fights with all the other kids. I was the only native kid around. And he was really surprised that there was no other native kids, and there was one black kid, one Chinese kid, and everybody else was there. So it, he came and he took me out to lunch a couple times and we talked a little bit.
Yeah.
But there was no program, there was no drum, there was nothing. He said there was really nothing culturally connected for us to do.
Well,
So
It wasn't
But
until
that
like
was-
15, 20 years ago, I was
When I
signing
was
papers for our
Right.
kids to
if
get
we
going.
go back to
Old
those,
enough.
then back to over
Yeah,
back.
we are.
And
Yeah.
there was.
well,
I
I
think we
will
can track-
say, yeah, I will say that there are some school districts that, that just are not aware of the program. And I don't know if they would, if I say that maybe they don't have the capacity, maybe, I don't know what it is, but there are some school districts that just don't have those extra steps in their, in any of their programs. So, and there's some history also that we have to, we have to consider that. This is, we live in a very white supremacy area. And
It's time to make a change.
and
We have
so
Rock
that-
Lake here, we have Plymouth, Modoc, we
Right.
have and there's California.
exactly.
Is a lot,
There's
is
5
ahead of us,
5,000.
way. ahead of
There
us.
are a lot,
And
and-
we could implement so much more.
right,
There's.
absolutely, which is why,
very
growing our capacity with the parents is
Yeah.
gonna be
Right.
amazing. Because one of the biggest ways to make an impact in a community isn't, like JC and I can be going to the schools and offering programming and doing the lectures and doing all those things. It's still not as impactful as a group of parents
When
from
they
that
see-
school district saying, hey,
When they see
these
performance,
are the
they're
things that,
interested.
and these are the things that we
We
want
know.
as as parents of the school district, and advocate for that.
Yeah.
And soon I'll be teaching about how you can do that. So
Yes.
just so you know, who to talk to, how to
And-
do it, what to say, and that's gonna be happening this.
Yeah.
summer.
And years ago, we did like
And
Southern Oregon, we did 12 schools, and we did East Falls, and we did all those other schools, and we filmed in all these other little schools.
Evergreen, all the way, Roseburg,
Yeah.
all the way.
so the way our program works though is
It
we're,
really surprised me when we were doing those things afterwards, whatever, how many people came up with after
Really
that.
interested.
Yeah.
Want to be more connected, that, I am a little bit
Yeah.
turkey, I am a little bit shocked, I am a little bit
Right.
free, I am. a
But-
little bit-
and we've created that with our DASUs.
Yeah.
I will
seeing
say
it
that.
happen is a big thing, because you can hear her talk about it, but when she sees something going on, then it's easier to want.
And we certainly do that with many visits, but the way our program operates, we're not a school district. We service all districts. How many schools, Teresa? 256?
Total, yeah.
256 schools in our district.
We treated it like world.
Wait,
tour.
please, ma'am. So basically what happens is they do the data, they click Native American, American Indian, Alaska Native. That's self-identification. We have a list of students that self-identify. If they click mixed race, so American Indian, white, we get a list of mixed race students. We don't know about that child. That's nationwide. So we get a list of students that self-identify. We then re-verify with them. We send it to their address. Sometimes it's, I clicked the wrong box. Or it's a mixed child. We don't know. We don't get that information. So we're really dependent on what the school provides to us for us to service the communities. And that's how it works. The second thing, I don't remember what it was.
What were you asking about or talking about?
I'm not
The
sure.
identity?
Yeah,
Was it-
the
Yeah.
self-identified and how that counts. Does that count
Not for this.
for the okay. So the
So
10,
we now service self-identify through the ESSER
right,
grant, because that's where it was most needed.
but the 10 per school is a 506 form. That's
Yes.
it.
That, yeah.
Okay.
And we can, that's the distinction that we have to, that you all as parent committee members need to really be clear about. The title, and that's why you have to look at the budgets.
Hi,
You have
Keely, just jump in if you
Hi guys.
add. Hi. Sorry,
Hi guys. Sorry I'm late.
you're fine.
Um,
So,
I totally admit I forgot this was going on tonight, so I apologize.
you know,
Totally my
it's been a
fault.
crazy month with powwows and everything. So honestly, I should have given more of a heads up, but instead I was like, hey, yeah, we're doing that. So that was my bad.
It's okay.
We'll plan it further in advance next time. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. How's everyone doing today?
Good. Oh, and real quick, guess who this guy is in the corner?
Wavy.
That's Kayla's dad. Kayla from SOU, co-chair.
Oh, what's up? Do more dad?
I know.
Yep, that's my Kenzie's dad too, so that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, but welcome, Keely. Keely is our Jackson County CPC president. And I think everyone's met.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. So
I'm sure.
Ed, Kaylee, we're talking about the distinction between the Title VI Indian Education Program and the ESSER Wellness Grant that JC runs.
Okay.
So
Okay, so what definitively what is the difference?
that's what I'll do it right now. So and I'll get you, I have a copy of the two budgets for you as well, so you can have those. But the
Okay.
Indian Ed Title VI grant, which is, that's what covers the 506 form.
Did everyone get to
And-
see the ESSER one?
I
Did it
mean,
make its way down?
Copies.
Oh,
No,
okay,
no,
great.
he made copies.
Oh, okay.
Great, thank you. That's where the 506 form comes in.
Yes, sir.
It's 506 and Title VI, these two are partners. This is what goes together. In order for us to get to the federal Title VI funding, we have to have completed 506 forms. In order to qualify for the Title VI program, the child, a parent, or a grandparent needs to be enrolled in a federally recognized tribe or a state recognized tribe. And you have to have this completely filled out. If you have access to the card or card number, all of that information is going to be needed to submit.
Okay.
If we don't have that information, we can't enroll that student into the program. We have, because it's so complicated in Indian country around federal recognition, like my tribe's not federally recognized. My kids cannot be enrolled in Indian Ed. But this year, because of the ESSER grant, Elena is able to participate finally. So before that, I couldn't bring her to my events really. Yeah, so I want you to be clear on that distinction. So even though, that grant ends at the end of next year, right? JC, the ESSER grant?
Yeah.
Is it June next year?
Yeah, so it goes until 2024, June. And currently, really what it is it actually was a response to bring equity work to disparaging communities from Oregon Department of Education. Basically, after COVID, they took a look and what they saw for racial diverse groups was bad. And it was way worse than white students. And so this grant came from the Biden administration and it's focused on overall health and wellness. And
Okay.
in the Indian community, we have a lot of ways to work that in because this is wellness.
Right.
We're in a circle, we're in community, that's wellness. But what we did, and really Teresa started it before I was even completely on board. We started hosting listening sessions in each county. That's how we met Earl and his family. But yeah, so we started these listening sessions and we said, what does wellness mean to you? How can we improve it? How can we improve your student? How can we improve your life? Echo provided self-identifying Native American families, and we said, yeah, we can make that work. So that, was one of the things we did. Out of other listening sessions, it was regalia. That was one of the ones we did. Other listening sessions, they want physical activity. We're bringing Native games back, and that's out of both our standard budget, but we're able to do more with the ESSER support. So mostly what ESSER does is it supports everything that Teresa spent the last 5 years building. So we're now able to have more students, more events, sometimes better food, like little things.
Also,
Okay.
I want to say is that I don't have the exact number, but I think there were only 3 Indian Ed programs across the state that were funded the ESSER Wellness Grant along with the tribes. So the 9 tribes each got the wellness grant, and then I think it's 3 Indian Ed programs, and our program
Was awarded
was
it.
one of the ones that they chose. So yeah, it's a blessing. Our hard work is
It's
paid
for a
off.
reason.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so that's the ESSER. I think everyone's probably pretty clear on those two. Does anyone have any questions on what's covered, what's not covered, anything else regarding those budgets or our different grants? Okay, very good. All right. Yay.
I know.
All right, let's,
Hi.
yeah. Woo, okay, done. All right, so next, I believe we have the bylaws. Okay, so if you have your little workbooks, grab them, the binders that we provided. If not, we do have extras, and we'll go through. Teresa put these together for our first quarterly meeting, and basically what it is these are examples of what's been used previously. At our last meeting, I know Abby can speak to this too, but basically the biggest thing was if it's not in here, we cannot make changes. So if something's not working, we need a policy on it, in order to whatever it is, how long are people serving? Is it 1 school year or is it 2? All of these things need to be decided. Yeah. And then we'll also get the form signed. Keely, we have a federal review. It requires so many signatures from each people. And so Teresa can show it to you at culture night too. But it comes early and it's due on the 26th for our mid review.
And you know what? Has everyone been able to stay updated on emails with the CPC? Are you getting those? I'm just trying to figure out what the bylaws, these are things that we could probably do virtually if we're all on the same group and talking about it. I'm happy to say, hey, check out article, blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that? Do you want to change it? But I also want to bring to your attention that this is, I'd like to have an ask that we figure out terminology to protect our Indian Ed program, because I don't want to have people who maybe have a lot of positional power or have financial power to make their way into here by saying, oh, my blah, blah, blah was a native. I want it to be genuinely lived. I'm an actual Indigenous person with lived experience. I know this community. So I don't know yet how we're going to formulate that verbiage, but I think it's really important. Yeah, go ahead, Abby.
Yeah, like, so we discussed about sovereignty and some of our school and.
Can you speak as loud as possible for Keely? This is our little speaker here. Thank you, Abby.
Oh, it's okay. I hear really good, guys. I appreciate it.
We would have discussions about sovereignty, over at House about the Wildcat, and one of the things is that we wanted, a lot of the students were in agreement with, was making tribal nations more similar to other nations with regard to where were you born and so that if you're tied to like a specific land base or a specific parentage, you know, so that it's less like great grandma was.
So great, so that might be that might be verbiage that we can use if, you know, and we can, as a group, make a decision of how far are we gonna go? Is it gonna be grandparents? Are we gonna allow adopted people? Because that happens. We have, I know in our program right now, we have some families where some of the children are enrolled and some aren't. That happens all the time. So how are we gonna address that? You know, so it's that very complicated situation for us as a people that we have to face. But I'd really like to start putting that in a policy. Because I don't want to find us in the situation, I've seen this happen in other Indian Ed programs where a non-native person who does a DNA test and says, oh, I'm indigenous, I can participate, and then come and take over and run a program that is not really for the people. So that's my whole reasoning behind that. So
Yeah.
so those are the two things, is I can go in and look at it, and maybe JC and I can spend some time going through it and discussing. And this also might be something good for the student leaders to go through so that you all can start learning how to write policy and what to look for.
Yeah, because this is grant writing 101.
It is.
I mean, any job, you know, this is the language that they use.
Yeah.
And I will also say, identity is hard in American Indian, Alaska Native Indigenous families. It's hard as adults, it's harder as students. And I'll also say, as important as it is, and it's so valid, and we all know that, we certainly, Teresa and I are the most accepting people. I introduced myself as with my tribal affiliation, but really I don't give a, you know, if you're an enrolled member or not. That's not how I measure indigeneity. It's not how Teresa measures indigeneity. It is how our program does. So I just want to say we're all accepted. Everyone's welcome here. And certainly if a lot of our students are just finding out about culture, and we're starting at the very beginning with follow your elders. And Earl saw that at our NASU event. In Cape Junction.
I think it's going to be hard to draw the line because there is so many different
Right.
areas there. It's like there's natives that go to Powwow and have full regalia and are very represent native, but then there's natives that
don't know the teachings or the right.
And just don't have the other outlets.
Right.
So there's definitely, you know, so many different layers of being indigenous, and just even the ones that don't have the ancestors, like the grandparents, the parents, to pass that culture down to them, but they know that they are native and they're lighting sage and they're blessing water and they're trying to watch TikToks to find their way. And so there are, there are so many out there. So it does make it kind of like scary to have to, be in charge of where do you draw
Absolutely.
those lines, because, a lot of us, like you said, on the adopted side, or not having the, the piece of paper
Mhm.
to,
Exactly.
say it, and kind of, we don't want to discriminate against the ones that, should
Right.
rightfully be in their places as well.
Right.
So we need to find a good common ground for all
Yes.
those different categories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like the
Absolutely.
idea of going grandparents back, but even that, like following bloodlines, doing
Mhm.
DNA tests and stuff like
Right.
that.
Or boarding schools,
Schools, it's choppy.
right?
It's choppy out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, identity is very hard for us. It's even now, the experts don't have a agreement or understanding. The basis for understanding it is those that have suffered. And what I've noticed with our NASUs is they've either looked like Teresa and suffered against the dominant culture, or they've looked more like my son Alexander and suffered from people in this room that look like us. And either way, it's racial discrimination. And I would say it's worse when it comes from within. So that's just not something we would ever put on someone. It's not based on the way you look. It's not based on any of those things. But certainly it's based on, you know, just having a reciprocal relationship, you know.
And, you know.
And Teresa knows vibes too. She'll know someone's cool within 5 seconds. You know, it's like, if you don't pass vibe check, you know, they don't get to be on policy. It is, you know, it's just how we do it. So.
And also keeping in mind as we go to start identifying some of these other families and students are facing these types of situations in their school. I know when I was really active in going to all of the schools on a weekly basis, I had some students who asked me not to call them in because they didn't want anyone to know that they were Indigenous. They just wanted support in getting the college stuff done, but they didn't want anybody else to know. And I know the students that we have in this room can tell their own stories about the kind of issues and discrimination that they're facing by their peers in their classrooms, by their teachers, by the curriculum, and by administrators that just don't know how to handle it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are all, it gets complicated and it's,
Yeah.
but as long as we're doing this together and we're, you know, keep talking like we are right now, you know, we'll start finding solutions. And then we can start having more focused trainings on,
Yes.
you know, how do we have the conversation about identity and how do we address these types of bias incidences, which again, that's going to be part of our summer programming. So.
Oh, and I had a question about that. Is that something, I know, this was like for the school and the system, is there going to be a summer program in place for everyone to stay connected, or are we all just kind of disconnecting and then reconnecting back up when school starts back up, or?
We'll be doing something. Even if we don't have the funding per se, you know, we'll still, even if we just do something once a month and have a potluck. Sometimes it's a little easier that way because it's then, okay, let's have a potluck and we'll have it wherever we want and we can invite everybody. I can't do any of my normal work things at that.
Well, we won't be wearing these, all right?
And it won't be official.
You think I'm chill at meetings, all right? About to get real chill.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
From circle gathering.
Exactly.
And everything.
and we just, you know, just a few weeks ago, our program got another grant. And that still hasn't been flushed out yet, but as soon as it has, it's likely that I'll be able to offer more constant summer programming, which is where we'll do the trainings, and we're going to talk about what is a bias, where's the bias incident reporting system at each school district, how do we address those issues, what's an IEP, what's a 503, 504, and who handles what, all of those things, so that you're getting trained and knowledge on how to navigate that school system, but also advocate for other families.
Which kind of brought something to my attention from a growing school located and working with the community and the school. Who would be that's already in the school system, such as the principal, vice principal, or the counselor, is the one that would probably be the co-partner for communicating with. So it seems like since we're a program that's in place and they're a program that's in place, maybe having two to communicate easier together. So like they're the ones that collect the paperwork and they're the ones that are in charge of helping getting the word out into that. So like
That's where it's challenging.
would it be like a school counselor would kind of be, because I feel like if the child was having an issue, with the issues that come with, you know, everything.
Exactly.
That's kind of who they would go to communicate with originally anyways. So it's kind of like front line already in place at the school district. So maybe trying to make that as one of our focal points to communicate with, like talk to the principal and be like, we need to have a school counselor in place, knowing the protocol and what to do in the steps and helping with that, because they're the ones that are, you know, the kids are getting picked on if they need to talk to someone. That's who they're gonna go
Absolutely,
to.
and that's
So-
gonna be included in that training.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Right.
while we speak of that training, so that will actually be introduced. We're just amazing and we want another grant, like you get a grant, you get a grant, you get a grant. So, yeah, so, like, and really it's the data, because we have to prove that we're actually doing what we say. And, we have this coordinator, Charlie, who takes Teresa's and I vibes, or, oh, it felt so good. And he writes a grant and he's able to write it as some sort of calcifiable data, where it's like, oh, we had a child, he shared for the first time in circle, so we know that it was empowerment. We know that child feels safe. We know all of these things, but then we have to prove it. So it's with these NASU meeting survey sheets that will also have you do, and it's a scaling system, but basically it just shows, how everything was, that kind of stuff. And that's just one of our data tools. Another one is, just daily check-ins. But with the next grant, Teresa will be introducing that at this year's Native Games.
Yeah.
Which
The
we
wellness conference we're doing.
have not had since the Alameda fire, because everything burned. So last year instead we did a giveaway kind of in replace, and just as a response to COVID, to really move forward. And
Which was beautiful, by the way.
you. Yes,
We had
and
the two Red Tail Hawks visit that day.
yes,
That
yes.
was-
yes. So, but for this year, we always do a big end of the year event. And so this year we're doing Native Games along with a end of the year wellness retreat. We have the dates planned. It's going to be the last weekend in May, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we have contracted with Vesper Meadows, Stassi Maxwell and Janine Moy, and they have a land-based hands-on curriculum that we'll do at their Vesper Meadow. They plant first foods, all kinds of really great, beautiful things within the land. That came from one of our listening sessions as well. And then we'll have different speakers. We're hoping to have, oh, we lost her. We're hoping to have Earl do bingo. I haven't asked you yet, but it's a part of our plan. We need you, buddy. Oh, right, when? Right. Okay, yeah, we're doing Native Games the very last weekend in May. Okay. Okay, well, we might have to find someone for bingo. But we're also gonna have drumming. We'll have, really it's just gonna be a space to come together and share. And, it's gonna be centered around wellness. Native Games will take place in Ashland, but we're also providing gas cards, and we're providing motel rooms, and we're providing all meals. And we took quite a few of the CPC leaders to Ashland Hills Hotel, and that's where we'll be staying. Those are the conference rooms again, same meals. Yeah, so it should be really lovely. So it's going to be Saturday night. Priority enrollment for those that live the furthest. We're inviting Klamath County. We're inviting Josephine and Jackson. So it's our end of the year retreat, our big hoorah. Yeah.
Last week in May,
Yeah.
so we don't do anything in the summer, any.
Well, I'm off in the summer. I'm completely done. Second week of June, I believe, or first week of June. I don't know. I'm out, baby. Like I am so ready to not work and be with my children because I work a lot and it's 2 jobs. And so yeah, I don't, but Teresa was talking about still holding space just for the council families and possibly doing a potluck every other time. We take these off.
The river.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
They did a festival more.
Yeah.
Cultural.
And
But
that's,
they do have some cultural and stuff.
yeah,
They had a lady from out camp that was making jewelry, traditional, some traditional jewelry.
and that's last week in June.
That is the church. Or, I think it's the date on that one, I have it on my phone, which is starting.
So that
I
would
can
be
put this up.
important if you could send me those important events that are happening.
Cultural, some cultural, that one, it's generally Maggie. A lot of the things that
Nobody's
here's, where's the refresh?
group elders come over to do, but
Her husband was here.
there's always something that happens, so the elders were able to make it the last couple of times.
Yeah,
So we went down there and I'd sang songs and did our thing. And they
we went last year. We went last year. It was a very good time. It's a community event. It's a good time.
The same time I did culture camp for 7 Feathers, so they usually.
They might be
On Father's
get
Day
after
weekend
now.
now they're doing. it after.
So we.
Okay.
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 We have done
Awesome.
Indian education literally for over 25 years.
Yeah.
We presented, we didn't have no grants.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got the car, made sandwiches, singing. We were asked to go and we said, okay, if you can accommodate the family, gas, VIP, or the shows, we're good pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's how we have learned so much, it's interacting. We have been to elders and youth gatherings,
Mhm.
which it would be something that's really cool.
That'd be great.
They are really, really
You
awesome.
actually get some,
So as the
Elders.
parent
Yeah.
committee, you all can plan all of those things. You know, so
well,
So-
What's part of
I didn't know.
excuse
how
me,
much-
family name, you're off. I agree.
Charlie.
Huh?
Charlie.
Charlie.
That's, yeah.
You know, Scots and James.
We know a lot of, we lived in Hoopa for 10 years,
Little crazy.
so through
I had a lot of cousins.
Bob.
What's your river, Paquan,
Well, I'm from Klamath River.
Red
Yeah.
Walk or?
No, just mainly describing.
Red was the mountain.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah, we won, Eland in Red
Yeah.
Walk.
Yeah,
Ceremonies down
I mean, I haven't been to one.
they do this in Neck Village, which
there?
is,
Dance, jump dance,
Big.
boat dance.
used to be Patrick's Point. That is a really big one,
Yeah,
that
you
is
go down every.
welcomes the whole,
Oh, Sioux Big. I've been to that one.
Sioux Lake Village.
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
awesome, Yeah.
yeah,
Last time it was like, just like last weekend, I got a chance to go down Reading and dance, fair dance down there. There was 300 people and 31 bear dancers. It was the
Oh my gosh.
biggest bear dance I've ever danced at. We danced for 2.5 hours. My legs are still shaking today from squatting down like that, I guess, for so long, 2.5 hours.
Well, and it's-
2 hours.
it's a
It's
workout.
spring, so it's the first time really,
Yeah, it is.
so it's like, it is.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
should we get a motel? Let's, let's get it. I can't sleep, let's go. We talked all, 5 hours, drive out home at 5 o'clock.
Mhm.
We left down there at 1:30.
Right.
That's when the ceremonies happen in the summertime
Yeah.
too, it's just.
We
it's
do
not just
everything.
power.
Yes.
We do a
It's
feather
really
dance,
educational.
outlaws, we do
It's-
the.
The fish fair in Hoopa, we
Yeah.
go there for the kids and they'd have the little fry fish and little tiny ones all the way up. to where they get set
They're
free.
native, but we don't know about, like you said, oh yeah, I identify as native. But, oh, can you sing me a song? Can you tell me about a ceremony you've been to? Can you tell it? My
Ooh,
daughter,
what food's
she came
important?
and seen me where the Willow Creek, she goes, I go, get ready, we're gonna go to ceremony. She goes, oh, we're gonna go to powwow? I go, no, we're gonna go to ceremony. She goes, what, peyote? I go, no, ceremony. She goes, those are the only ceremonies we do. I go, no, first we're gonna do the dance, then we're gonna go to the brush dance, then we'll go to the sun dance, then we're gonna go to the salmon. And she's all, but I have no idea. We're so good."
And
it's
I
like,
would say that's our strength, being so far away from a designated tribal lands. We're so intertribal here. The first time I heard that someone was,
reservations are nothing but con-
they have sun dancers here, you know, coming from the plains. I was like, what?
Well,
I perked up. I was like, who are these people?
yeah.
But we, let's see what time we got. Oh, we're doing okay.
From South Dakota came here and
Yes,
started those games.
yes.
And it started.
My actual relatives, actually, I believe. Yeah. It may be. My uncle's the pipe keeper. So we're all Lakota Lake Nation. So
Speaking of Martin Hyber, he's the one that started Sundays that I've gone to my whole life. And
Yeah.
yeah, 4 Nations, so.
So they're gonna be doing these things up there at Little Pilot Rock, and they're gonna invite everybody up to that. It's not gonna be an
Yeah.
international dance this year. It'll just be West Coast dance.
On the internet and it was international and that was too much. It was too much of a show. It was
Yeah.
not. It's
A lot of ceremonies are very closed ceremonies. of
Right.
Going up on side of
Right.
even a prayer, which is something that as legally we've had to hide because our
Sure.
religion is outlawed and the things that we do during our ceremonies are outlawed.
mhm.
And so now that, so a lot of those, we're not able to be like, oh, we're gonna have this ceremony, would you guys like to come join us? But there are other ceremonies that are more
Open.
publicly welcome. Speaking of which, there's in a couple of weeks, there's the water blessing ceremony. I did put it on my Facebook. At Ashland and at Shasta, and then one at one other. Different locations, we all pray together, and bless.
Can you all
water.
put that in the Facebook group so that we can send a message out?
Yeah. And invite families too.
Well, that's the
So,
one, because it's very simple, it's water blessing, it's good for.
And we talked about
prayer.
when I was a young boy, 4 or 5 years old, we'd go to Happy Camp. And my mom would be driving us over there and they would have this, and so there would be snow on side roads. We'd get out and play in the snow. And we'd be playing, me and my brother, and my mom would be singing, and I could just still hear echoing off all old trees and across that snowy fields and just it was goosebumps. I miss her singing so much,
yeah,
but less than that, that snow, it's gonna melt, it's gonna become our drinking water, our swimming water, it waters our food, it waters our plants, our trees, everything, our world. We go up and sing and pray about the snow and that water and stuff like that.
you know,
Very, very powerful.
and we have
A lot of
these
different-
very holy places, you know, right here, where it's just, it's such a sacred, blessed feeling, you know, when you're one with nature in those ways.
Called Ashburn, Alcatraz, cloud catcher, the rainmaker. with the
Oh, that's
snow
beautiful.
catcher.
In what language?
It's in Tequila.
Tequila.
We've been practicing a lot on the Tequila language. I should
Mhm.
Oh, great, because
bring those books
Yeah.
in.
as language goes along with
Education
the
books.
plants, with the people, with
Mhm.
what you wear.
Yeah,
And this has all been proven with throughout history, how you identify people.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's
Through prayer,
the,
through
what
song,
you're wearing,
ceremony.
what you're eating, and your spear points, how you're making different tools, what tools, and how you make certain dress, like the cedar or the or having leather.
Yeah.
Mohawks were known for being good hunters. They had leather mainly for outfit, for what they were outfitted in. They would even have armor. They would use the thick bark for a chest plate.
oh,
The Red
okay.
River Wars here.
Oh,
There's a lot of neat history.
and we did bone,
Right here
yeah,
about the.
yes,
the Red River
absolutely.
Wars.
And I
Very
just
big
wanna, yeah,
I used Road River Shasta during Road River War. We all went together.
And I just want to interject really quickly. So this is these cultural pieces. And it's part of that reciprocal relationship that we had mentioned earlier. So y'all give us so much. We can't put a price on knowledge. We can't put a price on culture. So having it shared with our students is the biggest blessing, the biggest resource that our student has. And Teresa and I tell people that every single day. Every single day when they ask, what's the best thing about your program? We say it's our parents, it's our students, and it's the greatest resource in this valley. And we just want to be really equitable with everyone's time and everyone's chance to share and speak. So if anyone has any calling to share, jump in, it's your turn. We want to really honor you. So I went to this really great event with Constance. Thanks, babe. Of course it is. So I went to this really great event with Constance the other day, and they had these little pieces of paper on the table, and it's not for data, it's not for us, it's just if there is someone that said something that you found inspiring, that you're grateful to have heard, really anything. We'll always have these at our events, and you can just write a note and give it to me and Teresa to give it to them. It can be anonymous, you can write your name on it, whoever. And it's just going to be this reciprocal sharing of knowledge. And we want to just be equitable. If you're not able to butt in like I am, or you don't feel safe or comfortable just saying, hey, well, I think this, any way you want to tell us. If you want us to tell them, we'll do it, whatever. But my battery's dying, so I think we'll wrap up the online Zoom. Keely, is there anything you want to add?
No, I've really enjoyed actually just listening to today's meeting and hearing what everyone has to say, their different thoughts and opinions and ideas. I'm just really excited that, we're on this journey together and we're doing this, and Jackson and Josephine County have really great communities for our Indigenous children and even children in general. I think it's a really great way to show leadership and to show initiative. So congratulations, everybody, and thank you.
So Keely, you're the best. And I just want to say every single person I meet has the most wonderful things to say about you. And I don't know if you ever hear them, but literally at our events in Josephine County, us girls will get together and be like, oh, that Keely, and it's like, I don't, and I don't think it's shared enough in our communities. We don't feel safe saying that. Like I could tell someone off, no problem, but I have a hard time saying I value you as a person, Echo. Thank you. So I just want more of that.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I love all you guys. I value